let's redux one of the most pleasant times I had this autumn. Matthew Dowd joins us from Austin, Texas, and with me, Margaret Carlson, as we talk from the debate on and the collapse of the supercommittee. Margaret, give me the nuance of this polarity. People talk about Republicans, Democrats. There's got to be some nuance there. What's the nuance of this collapse?
Well, Marty Feldstein just said that, Democrats and Republicans were totally equal in their refusal to bend. But you remember during the deficit talks, the grand bargain between Obama and Boehner, Obama talked his Democrats into putting entitlements on the table, trying to get one-third tax cuts, revenue raisers, and for much more in entitlement cuts. But, it doesn't sell because Republicans won't bend at all.
Do you agree with that, Matthew?
Well, I think there is very little nuance here. I mean, that's the problem is that both sides are dug in on, and they give enough to make people seem like they're compromising, but not enough to get the other side to agree. I think both sides are at fault, and I think it's a tremendous, in my view, a tremendous lack of leadership on the president's part in this. And I think ultimately he's going to get the most blame on this because he sits there in the Oval Office. He runs this. He talked about this. He appointed a commission, or got a commission appointed that was the Simpson-Bowles Commission, and then he basically disappeared from the radar on how to deal with it or force the issue, and he went off. And so I think all sides are to blame, but ultimately I think the president's going to take the biggest hit on this.
And here is the president speaking, Manchester, New Hampshire, on jobs. He looks very comfortable, unlike he sometimes looks in Washington. Margaret, he looks comfortable there. Do you agree with Matthew? Judd Gregg in the Hill, I thought a very sharp op-ed looking for the presidential leadership. Do you agree, Margaret, that the president was missing in action here?
Well, you bring up something which he looks comfortable there. Obama is a politician who doesn't really enjoy the company of other politicians, so he's not going up to the Hill, getting to know people, finding a way to deal with them. He only has a couple friends up there, Senator Tom Coburn being one, a very straight talker. But if you don't have the little bit of the after-hours comedy, it's much harder to work these things out.
Matthew, when you look at the parade here and the weak GDP number today and the shocking lack of wage growth, do we just assume we will see a continued payroll tax holiday? Do politicians care about a nuance like that?
I don't think that right now they're so. The nature of politics in Washington has become so tribal, and that no matter what either side does, the other side says they're wrong to do it. And so we've almost gotten to the point, Tom, where this democracy is almost broken, in that we can't seem to even get the little things done. Everybody knows there's a deficit problem. Everybody knows there's a problem with the economy. Everybody knows there's certain things we need to do, but neither side seems to have any ability to show up. It's amazing to me that it took 3 weeks. This committee, the supercommittee, did not meet after November 1st until it failed the day before yesterday. They couldn't even walk across the hall to sit down with each other for 3 weeks in the midst of this crisis. It's just an amazing situation.
That's remarkable, Margaret.
I mean, we might as well get back to the committee on the whole, because the little groups now can't do business. And, Matthew's so right. They're all there in the same building. It takes nothing for them to get together.
Let's redux our chart from the debate evening. That was wonderful with Margaret Brennan. Here it is, greater than 26 weeks unemployment. This, I would suggest they're aware of, is a weaker economy and a terrible labor market. Matt Dowd, when you look at the mix here in that they did not meet since November 1st, let me ask a more basic question. Do they care, as they traditionally should, about jobs?
Well, I think they all care. I mean, I have to say, I will give them the good intent. I will give both sides the good intent. They actually care about jobs. They care about the American public. They care about our place in the world as an economic power. I think they do. But we've now gotten into a place where it's like a dodgeball game, Tom, where nobody is willing to go to the middle because they're afraid they're going to get pelted. And even if they want to, they have an inability to do it because they're afraid that if they walk towards the middle, the base of the right or the base of the left will bombard them, and that's the problem.
Margaret, where are we going to be in 3 months, 6 months?
Well, in a political year, the last chance for movement was probably yesterday.
Right.
And now we're in full campaign mode. Republicans don't want to do anything that makes Obama look good, and that includes improving the unemployment rate.
Let's go to the president here. You said he was being, a control room was saying the president was being heckled.
What I was saying was I was having some coffee with some of your neighbors. And one
Okay,
of
so
them
he's back on
was the
track. Well, he
corporates.
was heckling her. Matt
may
Dowd,
know
it's a
as Mr.
contact
Corporate
sport
just
right
said,
now.
Matthew.
Schoen and Cuddle talking about Hillary Clinton as secretary. Where are the consultants in all this, the lobbyists in all this? Do the politicians on their own, or are the lobbyists in full frenzy in Washington?
Well, the lobbyists, this is a bad thing for lobbyists. Anytime nothing can get done unless you're some lobbyist that gets paid to kill everything, which I guess somebody like Grover Norquist is successful in these kind of situations where because everything died and no tax increases happened. But lobbyists don't like a dysfunctional Washington, interestingly enough. Whether they're on one side or the other, they like a Congress and a presidency that actually works because they can get stuff done on behalf of their clients. Dysfunction in Washington, as you know, it's why we got downgraded, is bad for everybody, and it's bad for our place in the world because the rest of the world says, like, we sit there and make fun of Greece and we make fun of Italy and we make fun of the other countries. What about the United States, who can't even seem to solve a problem we all know about?
Right. Last word, Margaret.
If you're a historian like Newt Gingrich, a Washington representative as opposed to a hated lobbyist, you can still make money in this atmosphere.
Really? You can make money? How do you do that?
Close to $2 million telling Freddie Mac. I think actually, Matthew can correct me, I think it's kind of hush money that Freddie Mac paid Newt Gingrich not to dump on Freddie Mac.
I think we'll be seeing a column about that. Matthew, we got to go. Thank you so much. Matthew Dowd and Margaret Carlson on the debris of the supercommittee. We're going to come